Good morning and welcome to the virtual Greater Boston Church of Spiritualism. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, we welcome you. Please join me in our opening prayer. Infinite Spirit, beloved God, we ask that you bless us today as we gather together in harmony and in community. Fill us with your light and love and help us to bring that into the world. Remind us who we are as a part of you and help us to understand that life and love continues into eternity. Bring our loved ones close today so that we may really understand their love continues as ours will as well. We give thanks for your presence within us and around us as we say Amen. And now we want to celebrate the accomplishments of women today. So I'm going to begin by sharing some inventions by women that you will most definitely recognize. Many are from the time that spiritualism was becoming known, and the independence and strength of these women is a trait seen in the women of the spiritualist and suffragette movement. So we recognize Margaret Knight, born 1838 to 1914. She invented a machine that folded and glued paper together to create a flat-bottomed paper bag. A man stole her idea and tried to patent it for himself, but she took him to court and won. She invented over 100 different machines. The rotary engine and the window frame and sash are just two. Josephine Cochrane invented the dishwasher and sold them to hotels. Mary Anderson, 1866 to 1953, invented windshield wipers for the car. Bet you didn't know that. And Sarah Breedlove, a.k.a. Madam C.J. Walker, invented hair care products for African American women. She also trained hair culturists and was the first female self-made millionaire. So those are just a few of the women who have made wonderful accomplishments in our time, and it's wonderful that we can celebrate the accomplishments of women this month, and I hope you will celebrate the women in your life. And now it is time for our healing prayer. Please join me. The words will appear on the screen. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstruction from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and the power of God. Now it's time for our healing meditation, a time when we can let go of the stress and strains of life and just relax and bring ourselves into this present moment of now where we know the presence of God exists. So get comfortable wherever you are. Take a nice deep breath and close your eyes. Breathing in and breathing out. Releasing the stress, releasing the strain, releasing any dis-ease that may be in any part of that physical body. And just allow yourself to relax as you focus on your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And just imagine a beautiful light flowing in with that breath, helping you to relax, bringing you peace, bringing you a state of relaxation, where you can be at ease and return to your natural state. Breathing in, allow it to fill that physical body, flowing into every cell and particle of your being. Feel it filling your mind as your mind opens and expands to the higher wisdom, to the higher thoughts of love and connection. Feel it filling your emotional body as it calms and soothes and washes away the pain and sorrow. Allow that wonderful, loving energy of God to flow around you and remind you who you truly are. Feel it filling your heart as your heart opens in love and you let go of everything else. For in this sacred moment, you can give yourself a gift of peace, a gift of connection, a gift of unity with your source as you simply breathe and allow that divine light and that divine love that is always there for you to reach deep inside and awaken that beautiful light that is you. As you breathe, just feel yourself lifting into your imagination, being carried by that beautiful light. And imagine yourself walking along a pathway. And as you walk, you can feel the earth beneath your feet. And before you on the path, you can see many stones, many rocks, even boulders up ahead. And as you walk, some you need to move around, some you need to climb over. But just allow yourself to continue to walk along this path of life, knowing there are always things that get in the way. But as you move with life, you find your way around them. And as you walk along that path, you notice along the side a beautiful little respite, a place of beauty, a place where you can just sit and relax and be at ease. You can see a pool of water and beautiful trees all around it. There's a beautiful little place for you to just sit and put your feet in the water and breathe in the softness of the breeze. You can hear the sound of the birds singing as that sound brings you peace. And just allow yourself to rest here, to absorb the peace of the moment. For all along the path of life, there are places to go to relax, to be at ease, and to connect to that source, which is God. As you sit in this wonderful, peaceful place, you can feel the rays of the sun shining down upon you, warming that body. You can feel the gentle breezes flowing by you, keeping you cool and comfortable. And as you relax into this setting, begin to feel the white light of God, the rays of God's pure love flowing into you, flowing around you, flowing through you, and bringing you the strength you need to continue on. Restoring your soul, reminding you who you really are as a part of your divine source. Allow this divine light to fill you completely, to lift you, to bring to you exactly what you need so that you may continue on this pathway of life. No matter what the boulders, no matter what the struggles, you know that you have within you what you need. As you sit in this wonderful, peaceful place, you can feel your guides and your angels and your loved ones gathering to help you, to cheer you on, to bring to you what you need, the wisdom to know how to move through the challenges of life. For that wisdom is within you. It is a part of you. For you are connected to all wisdom, to all light, to all love, to all beauty. And allow yourself to be that connector between heaven and earth, staying in union with your divine source. For that is where you can connect in the vibration of love with all those who are there to support and love you. But be at peace in this moment and feel yourself embraced with love and folded in light. Feel the strength that it brings to every part of you. Feel your mind opened with clarity, your body healthy and strong. Feel yourself releasing any sadness or grief or worry or fear. And know that this light brings you the strength you need on every level, on every layer, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This light is there for you, to lift you and to carry you forward so that you may continue on your journey, creating your most beautiful life, finding the greatest parts of you and sharing them with the world. Feel that light embrace you once again, surround you and fill you so that you may carry it all back with you and use it every day in every way as you interact in just your special way to make your world a better place. Feel the love of your loved ones. Feel the angels guiding. Feel the guides whispering. And know they will always be there for you when you connect to your source, that divine presence of God that lives within you and all around you. For that presence of God exists in all of creation and can speak to you through it all. So breathe deeply now and allow that peace that has permeated your being to flow with you back to the room. Bring that strength, bring that love, and bring that knowing that you are always supported. You are never alone as you move through this journey of life. Take a nice deep breath and feel yourself coming back slowly to the room, grounding back to the here and now. But know that you have that peace, that love, and that strength within you to carry on and to create a beautiful and wonderful life. Nice deep breath all the way back, and as you open your eyes, smile and allow that beauty within your soul to shine out from within you. Let it be shared with all the world in all of your interactions. And if we're all back now, let us together recite our Declaration of Principles. In spiritualism, we have no rules or regulations, no dogmas or creeds, but we do have a set of principles that help us to live our lives in the best possible way. So please read them as they appear on the screen. We believe in infinite spirit and that God is infinite spirit. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite spirit. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of an individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact, scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the Golden Rule. Whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm the moral responsibility of the individual and that they make their own happiness or unhappiness as they obey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul here or hereafter, and we affirm the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in the Bible are divine attributes proven through mediumship. And now we're blessed to have with us today Reverend Carole Lynne, who will offer a sermon today, and she will be followed by a musical selection. Please open your hearts and welcome her.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Carole Lynne, and I'm in the United States. And I'd like to talk to you about my spiritualist heroine, Emma Hardinge Britten. This is her autobiography. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She was an English woman who became one of the most important pioneers in spiritualism. She was born in 1823 on May 2nd, and she went to Spirit in 1899 on October 2nd. Now, for those of you interested in numbers, I think that's an interesting fact. born on the second of a month, and she passed on the second of a month. Any rate, back to her story. By the time she grew up, she had become a writer, a musician, and an actress. And although she had sat in some of the occult circles of the day, she really didn't realize her mediumship, or certainly not the extent of it. She was all involved in her writing, music, and acting. And so in 1856, when she was offered a position in a theater company in New York City, she accepted, and she prepared to travel to America to work in the theater. So she took her mother with her, and she and her mother boarded a ship and set off for America. Can you imagine how exciting that must have been for the two of them? When they arrived, they rented a room in a Manhattan boarding house. Now, here's where this gets really interesting and sends me to wonder if the world of spirit had somehow influenced the following events. So here are Emma and her mother in the boarding house. And as it happened, coincidentally, there were two people in the boarding house who identified as spiritualists. Now, in the boarding house of those days, there was usually a common room where boarders could sit and chat. And so Emma coincidentally ended up chatting with, who do you think? The two spiritualists. They tried to interest her in spiritualism, but she was not interested. Somehow, they finally convinced Emma to attend a seance. And when Emma went to this seance, she was absolutely horrified. It was absolutely against her Orthodox religion. And in fact, she was so upset that she just got up and fled from the room and rushed back to the boarding house. Emma discussed her horrific experience of the seance with one of her theater acquaintances, who, far as I know, was not even necessarily a spiritualist. But this acquaintance really thought that Emma should give spiritualism a second chance. And so she talked Emma into having a closer look by having a private sitting with a medium known as Mrs. Ida Foy. Well, this medium proved to Emma that she was communicating with loved ones. She knew things that Emma had not told her and that she could not possibly have known about Emma's loved ones who had passed on. In other words, Ida Foy proved the continuation of life. The result was that Emma's life was changed forever. For instance, Emma wanted very much to hear from her brother in spirits. And do you know what happened? Ida Foy brought a message to Emma from her brother, which included the last words that Emma's brother ever said to her. For Emma, this was utterly amazing and life-changing. She writes in her autobiography, and I quote, "All this filled up in rapid succession over 2 hours, in which the panorama of my life and many of those with whom I had walked my life path, and now deemed dead, there came with an accuracy of detail and a disinterment of long buried facts that no other record on the face of this earth could have given." And so the sitting was over, and Emma went forth that day into the streets an utterly changed woman. "The world and all things around me were changed," she wrote. Now, I'm sure that many of us who are spiritualists can remember how stunned we were when we received evidence from a medium that was for us life-changing. To learn the full story of Emma's entrance and work in spiritualism, I recommend that you read her autobiography. And she also wrote a book called Modern American Spiritualism. As an author, she has made an incredible contribution to spiritualism. We can learn so much from her. Before I conclude, let me share one other dramatic event that happened in Emma's life. I'll begin by saying that we all know that new ideas are not so readily accepted. We see this in the early days of the women's suffrage, in the civil rights movement, and in the GLBTQ movement. Likewise, we saw a lot of resistance in the early days of spiritualism. So here is a story about Emma Hardinge Britten when she served the church in Rondout in the Hudson River Valley in New York. A Mr. George Smith invited Emma to serve on a Sunday and a Monday in Rondout. Mr. Smith met Emma at the steamship landing. The horse and buggy were standing near the landing, Emma writes, and so Emma easily climbed into the carriage and he transported her to his house, not speaking most of the way because the roads were quite steep and he had to concentrate on the horse. Now, I'll bet that's an experience none of us have had when we were being taken to a church to serve. Once Emma was seated in the parlor, Mr. Charles said he wanted to let her know that most of the people in the area were very much against spiritualism. Let's face it, he wanted to let her know what she was going to be in for. Couldn't he have let her know this before she accepted the invitation? But quite frankly, I think she would have accepted the invitation anyway. So it was time for her Sunday lecture. When Emma stood up behind the podium and began to give her inspirational talk, within a minute or so, members of the congregation stood up and yelled not so nice words at Emma, and then stormed out of the room. Emma gathered herself together and went on with her talk. Within another few minutes, another group stood up and went through the same bad behavior and left the church. And so it went. While it was very difficult for Emma, as she tells it and writes, and I quote, "With a calmness and composure I had never before in my life experienced, I stood still, only motioning to George Smith to be quiet until the roughs had gone out. Emma continued her talk, and each time a new group got up and yelled, she just remained as composed as if she had been standing in front of the most refined congregation. By the time her lecture was over, there only remained a half dozen people in the church. What an experience." Emma must have realized her dedication that day, because experiences like this in her first years of spiritualism did not stop her from devoting her life to educating herself and the rest of us about the religion of spiritualism. I do hope that you will take the time to read one of Emma's books, especially her autobiography. Thank you, and it was nice being with you today in cyberspace.
And it's kind of from a parent's perspective, but also spirit. You baby blues, so full of wonder, your curling cues, your contagious smile. And as I watch start to grow up, all I can do is hold you tight. When the clouds will rage and the storms will race in, but you will be safe in my arms. Rains will pour down, waves will crash all around, but you will be safe in my arms. Storybooks full of fairy tales of kings and queens and the bluest skies. My heart is torn just in knowing you'll someday see the truth from lies. When the clouds will rage and storms will race in, but you will be safe in my arms. Rains will pour down, waves will crash all around, but you will be safe in my arms. Castles they might crumble, dreams may not come true, but you were never all alone, for I will always love you. Hang on, hang on. When the clouds will rage and storms will race in, but you will be safe in my arms. Rains will pour down, waves will crash all around, but you will be safe in my arms. In my arms.
Thank you, Reverend Carole Lynne, for that wonderful talk. I hope everyone will read more about Emma Hardinge Britten. And now it is time for our spirit communication, a time where we can hear the wisdom that the spirit world has for us. As you know, I don't know who's watching, but the spirit world does. So please open your hearts as they come. I'm just going to share exactly what they give me, and hopefully it will bring you the wisdom that you need to hear today, because they do come to share their wisdom and what they've learned in their lives, because that doesn't help just one person. That helps all of us. So we welcome the spirit world, and let's see who's here with us today. Okay, I have a woman who comes in very proudly and very strongly. As she comes in, she tells me she was ahead of her time when she lived on this planet. I feel like she would have grown up in the 1920s, 30s, around there, because I feel like she's taken me back to a time where women weren't allowed to do the things that they can now. So I feel like she said she had to stand tall and strong and be who she was and really fight for everything. because I feel like she was an educator. And she wanted education. She fought to get the education she needed because she grew up in a time where women were expected to get married and stay home, raise children, and cook dinner. And that wasn't what she wanted to be in her life. She wanted to be more than that. And that's why she says she was ahead of her time. And she fought to have a good education, and she became an educator. And I feel like she had children of her own. She did have a marriage. She had children, and she raised them to be independent as well. So she's a very independent, very intelligent woman. And she said, I was valued for my intellect. And I taught my children that that was something that they needed to work on to always better themselves, to always keep learning, to always keep growing. So I feel like she's coming in to say, well done to her children, because she's seeing that her children did become wonderful human beings beyond just their education in academia. I feel like they educated themselves about the world around them and have been active in pushing towards creating a better world. So I feel like she's not just talking to her grandchildren, to her children, she's talking to her grandchildren. And she's saying, I'm seeing my grandchildren making a difference. And she said, I am so proud to know that they followed in my footsteps and they did all they could to educate themselves, not just in books, but in experience. And she says it takes both. It takes education by learning in books, but we need to educate ourselves out in the world and understand other people. And she said, and that's what I feel like they do. They learn about other people. They delve deeper into their levels of understanding, and they work to make the world a better place. So I feel like she came in to say bravo, keep up the good work, and encourage everyone to explore and find the goodness in everyone. Doesn't matter if they're man or woman or child. Doesn't matter if they're black or white or purple. What matters is what they have inside. And get to know what's inside everybody and find the good qualities so you can help bring them out. And I feel like that's what she tried to do as an educator. And she's encouraging everyone, not just her family, but everyone to look deep inside for the value in every individual, because it's there. And sometimes you have to look a little harder, but you will find it. And she's very happy to be here today. I feel like I'm still educating with her, and that was such a big part of who she was. And that was her personality. She loved to educate people, and she's still doing it from the spirit side. So I leave you with her blessings, lots of love, lots of respect, and lots of pride in who you've become to her family. Thank you. Ooh, very strong and wonderful lady. Thank you. Okay, I feel like I have another woman coming in who also comes in a strong way. I feel like she would have made her mark in business. I feel like she was definitely in the higher runs of an organization, and I feel like she worked to make a difference in the world as well. The type of job she's telling me she had was to help the corporation look at ways in which they could help in other areas. So I feel like she was the one that would find how the company could do more good in the world, is how she puts it. And she was very good at her job, and she was really good at getting the higher-ups to do the things she wanted them to do. Because she would almost shame them into it. She'd say, you have all this money and look at these people without, and you need to step in and do that and help clean this up and help do that. So I feel like she's come in and she had a great love for this planet, and she said she was behind a lot of programs that would encourage people to go out and do cleanups. So I feel like one of the things she was spearheading in the organization she was part of was it's not Earth Day, but they would have a cleanup day that they would go into the inner city and they would clean out places where there was a lot of trash and garbage, and they would go in, a big group of them, and they would clean it all out to make a park or a place that was beautiful for people to go to. So I feel like she was someone who worked really hard to make the world a better place. She says, in my small way, I only was a part of an organization but I was lucky enough to have a job that I could make a difference and encourage people in our corporation to get involved. So I felt like she would kind of rally all the employees to get together and do this. I'm seeing shirts on. They'd all wear the same shirt and go out. And she said, the thing was that we made a difference where we went, but the greatest difference was within us. Because when we reached out and helped other people, we felt great about ourselves. And she said, try it, you'll like it. She said, try. She's in here to encourage people to go out and clean up the earth. Go out and make the world prettier. You know, plant a tree, do something to make the world look better, because you can do it. And, you know, it doesn't take 100 people or 1,000 people to make a difference. 2 or 3 can go and clean up one area. And it takes you no time at all. But at the effort that you put into making the world a better place comes back as such joy in your heart. So she's encouraging people to look around, see what's needed, because that really was her job. She said, I had to look around and see what was needed and where we could help. And she said that was the best job on the planet. And she said, I did it with such joy, and I know that my job continues in somebody else, but I was at the beginning. I feel like she was the first person that had that job in the company, and it was something that she had to fight and work hard for to get the things done that needed to be done. But she really worked hard, and she got it done, and it continued to be a department in the corporation now that puts things together. It's kind of under the guise of public relations, but it started with her, and she's very proud of that accomplishment. But she said, you know, everybody can't be in a corporation running big programs, but everybody can make a difference. So she's encouraging people to really work hard to make a difference in the world, to look around and see that everybody can do something. So I leave you with her love and her blessings as she leaves us with, go out and do something. And that's sort of her motto, go do something, and you'll make the world a better place. Thank you for coming. Lovely lady. Okay. Whew. Okay, I feel like I have another woman coming in. It must be Women's Day. All the ladies are coming in. And this one is a very gentle and joyful soul. She feels like a sprite to me, like somebody who would be small in stature and moving all the time. So I feel like she had a lot of energy in life. And I feel like she would have passed not too old. I feel like if I made to my 50s, she just looks young to me as I'm feeling her energy. I wouldn't put her more than 50. But I feel like she's neat and tidy, and she's very petite and strong. And I feel like she's got a strong personality, and she's also someone who loves to help. And I feel like as I'm blending with her, I feel like she's a nurse as she comes in, because I'm feeling that nursing energy with her, that caretaker personality. And she said, I was always a caretaker. And I feel like I'm not seeing her with sisters, but I feel like whoever was in her life, she would have to take care of them. And she would look out for them. So I guess she does have sisters, because she's saying, yeah, I had sisters. I looked out for my sister. I looked out for anybody who was in my life, because that's who I was. I couldn't help myself. I had to just step in and take care of things. But I feel like she did that for a living. And then she continued to work after she was married, and she worked and she took care of a family. She said, I'm of the superwoman age when women could do everything. And she said, you know, when we fought for women's rights, and she said, I was a part of that generation that we had to be able to do everything and prove ourselves. And she said we had to be able to make the meals and take care of the kids and keep a beautiful house and go to work and do a wonderful job. She said it was burning the candle at both ends. She said, but it was part of what we had to do in the movement for women so that we could be recognized, that we were just as good in our jobs as men. And that was a lot of hard work. And she said, not that I'm the one that did it, but I think collectively, she says, everybody did it. We all the women stood up and they did it all. And it was years later when we realized, wait a minute, why do we have to do it all? What's wrong with the men? They can help. So I feel like it was, you know, it's a part of, she's saying it's a part of the evolution of women, that we had to stand up and do everything to prove it. And then we were able to open up and let the men come in and take some of the responsibility, share the child care, share the housekeeping, you know, share all of those jobs, cook a meal. She said there's no reason why we couldn't have true equality. So I feel like she's coming in to say, yippee for true equality, that men and women could work together, could raise a family, keep a home, and not have one person doing it all. So she's very happy to see that happening. And I feel like she's looking at her daughter and saying it's wonderful to watch a really lovely marriage, because I feel like her daughter is married, happily married, and I feel like they both take turns in doing the things that need to be done. And she said, finally, that's what equality is about. It's not about the money. It's not about what one can do and what one can't do. It's about sharing equally. And she said it took a while to happen, but it's happening more and more these days, and she's very happy to see that. So I feel like she's coming into very proudly and says, I did my part. I did my part. I did it all for my time that I was here. And she's very happy that she did, because as she looks back, she can see the evolution of the women moving forward. And she's happy to see where we've gone. So I'm going to leave you with her blessing and thank her for coming in. And I think we have time for one more. Okay, I feel like I have a man trying to push in here on Women's Day, and he's laughing as he does. And I feel like he's coming in as a supporter of women. I feel like in his life, he would have been in charge of a company. I feel like he was definitely like the CEO or the boss of this corporation. And I feel like as he comes in, he said, it took me a while, but I got on the bandwagon and helped women rise within the company. I treated them on their merit, not their sex. And he said, I was one of the first who began that, but then I saw that coming along and in other places and in other corporations. He said, the reason I did it, I had daughters. And he laughs. He said, I had wonderful daughters. All my kids were girls. And he said, and I saw within them such light and such joy and so much intelligence and so much energy that I couldn't understand why they wouldn't be able to be anything they wanted to be. So I began to work within my own way to help women. And he said, and it made a difference. And he said, I'm coming in to say how proud I am of my family, because I feel like it's his grandkids that are out there rising through the ranks now. And he said, my children did a wonderful job raising good, strong, independent women. And I'm proud to see them, because I feel like his grandchildren, some of his granddaughters have their own business. And he's very proud of that they stood strong and went out and did their own thing. And I feel like he wants to say, good job, keep going, I know how tough it's been. So I feel like I want to really lift his granddaughter up that has gone out on her own and worked really hard for many, many years and is now seeing success. And he said, you deserve that success. And I feel like with him, there are a lot of very strong women who come in with him. And I feel like the grandmother is there, who's a very strong woman. And she also stood out in her generation. She also was able to stand up and be who she was. So I feel like the husband and wife, they come in and they said, we raised our daughters to be strong, and they raised their daughters to be strong. And so much good has come out of it, because part of the business that the granddaughter is moving forward is something that really is making a difference in the world, which makes him so very proud, so very happy. They're all proud and happy from the spirit side, and all ready to lift her up and tell her that keep going, never give up, you'll always be on top, because you have it in your heart to be that. And they want her to know she has all the support needed, and to let everyone else know that you have what you need within you to create the best life you could ever imagine. Reach inside and bring that light out so that you may create a wonderful life for yourselves and a wonderful life for everyone else, because those two things go together. They're not separate. If the world is falling apart, you can't be happy. You need them both. So the world needs everyone, and everyone needs the world. So march on. And I leave you with their blessings and their love and all the love from the spirit world as they come in to celebrate the light within everyone. It's not just women, it's within men too. And there's light within us all. Let us all celebrate the light and be what we can be in the best possible way. So know that all of your loved ones from the spirit side of life are here. They're around you. They're whispering words of encouragement to you and helping to lift you up as you move forward in this wonderful season. And now we have just a few announcements that things going on within the church. Our next Medium's Day will be Sunday, April 25th from 1 to 3. You can schedule an appointment now with one of our church mediums by sending me an email at healergbcs@hotmail.com. And once we've confirmed your appointment, you can pay for your reading on our website homepage. In April, instead of a book share, we will be discussing documentaries about the Earth and ways in which we can help our planet. Thursday, April 22nd at 7 p.m., we will be discussing different episodes of documentaries on Netflix. Down to Earth with Zac Efron. There are 8 episodes in that series. Our Planet also has 8 episodes, and A Life on Our Planet, which is a movie. They're all on Netflix. So feel free to watch and join us with any ideas you'd like to share on ways in which we can all help this planet go forward. And to remind you, our services will continue on YouTube. Donations to the church can be made on our website and on Venmo at GBC Spiritualism, and also on Facebook. And we appreciate all of the support. We can't pass the basket, but we can accept donations, so we encourage you to do that. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please share the videos. And now join me in our closing prayer. Infinite Spirit, beloved God, we give thanks for the healing, for the love, for the life, and the wisdom that we've received from the higher side of life. Help us to bring your light into the world. Help us each to do our part to make our world a more beautiful and wonderful place. Help us to realize who we are as a part of you, as a part of each other, and to help to heal this planet so that we may all be healed as well. We give thanks for your presence within us and around us as we say Amen. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you all next week. God bless you all.